Hey everyone, I am so incredibly thrilled you're here. Get ready because today we're diving into a fun, colorful, and super interactive explainer that is finally going to help you solve a habit I know we all struggle with, and that's procrastination. We're going to build the ultimate science-backed numbered toolbox to help you get unstuck. Okay, let's just dive right into this because honestly, I have a feeling I know exactly why you clicked on this explainer today. So, I want you to be totally honest with me right now. What are you actively putting off by watching this? Is it a work report, maybe a workout, or folding that massive pile of laundry that's been sitting on your chair for 3 days now? Whatever it is, consider yourself playfully called out. But listen, I also want to let you off the hook for a second. Procrastination is not laziness. It's really not a time management problem. As researcher Timothy Peichel points out, it's actually an emotion regulation problem. You're avoiding a task because it triggers anxiety or boredom or self-doubt, and your brain is just looking for a little temporary relief. Well, you're definitely not alone. Actually, thousands of years ago, ancient Greek philosophers like Socrates and Aristotle came up with a word for this exact feeling. They called it akrasia. It's basically the state of acting against your better judgment. You know exactly what you should be doing, but you're doing something entirely different. It is a timeless human flaw, and it's rooted in a very real physical battle happening inside your brain right this very second. Okay, so here's the secret brain hack we can use once we actually understand what's going on up there. When you think about a dreaded task, your prefrontal cortex, which is the logical goal setter, genuinely wants to work. But acute stress rapidly shifts control over to your amygdala, your brain's threat detector. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio actually calls the physical tension you feel a somatic marker. It's this automated alarm signal of absolute dread. Your brain is quite literally prioritizing immediate mood repair over your long-term goals. You avoid the task just to feel better right now. But what if we could bypass that alarm completely? Well, here is our roadmap. We're going to count down through 5 science-backed weapons: the 5-second rule, the 5-minute rule, eat the frog, if-then planning, and finally, the Zygarnik effect. Let's jump in. Technique number 1, the 5-second rule. You might have heard of this one. It was made famous by Mel Robbins. She was really struggling to get out of bed one morning, saw a literal rocket launch on TV, and decided to use a countdown to act before her own brain could stop her. So here's how you do it. Step 1, notice the impulse to work. Step 2, immediately count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step 3, move. Counting backward actually forces your logical prefrontal cortex to stay engaged, and that short-circuits the threat response before the amygdala can veto your action. Here's the really crucial point, though. When you hit 1, you absolutely must move your body physically. Stand up, open the laptop, dial the phone number. Movement is a commitment device, it's not a motivation technique. Just thinking about moving? Yeah, that doesn't count. Sending a motor signal to your body sends a physical interrupt to your hesitation loop. It bridges that gap between intention and action right before the dread even has a chance to set in. Moving right along to technique number 2, the 5-minute rule. So, while the 5-second rule gets you moving, this rule is a cognitive behavioral therapy fix designed to lower your anxiety threshold. Therapists call this behavioral activation. 5 minutes, that's the whole magic number. I'm going to challenge you right now. The very next time you avoid a massive task, just set a timer and commit to a tiny, unintimidating 5 minutes of work. And here is the absolute secret sauce to making this work. You have genuine permission to quit after those 5 minutes. No guilt at all, no fine print. If that timer goes off and you want to stop, you just stop. But here's why this is so incredibly effective. Action changes emotion way faster than waiting around for motivation. Once you actually start, the dread usually just evaporates because the task turns out to be way more tolerable than your anxiety predicted it would be. 9 times out of 10, for sure, you're just going to ride the momentum and keep on working. All right, technique number 3, eat the frog. Now, this is all about prioritizing your absolute worst tasks first. And it's based on this crazy humorous quote that's often attributed to Mark Twain. It goes, if it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. So what is your frog? Your frog is that complex, dreaded task that takes, maybe 1 to 4 hours to complete. It's the one that just fills you with the most dread, the one you are absolutely most likely to procrastinate on. So why exactly does eating a literal frog for breakfast work so well? Well, let's run through it real quick. First, it beats morning dread by utilizing your highest levels of willpower and energy for the day. Second, it ensures distraction-free deep work before the rest of the world wakes up.
Third, it stops you from falling into that trap of reactive email checking, where you're just responding to everyone else's emergencies. And finally, it completely avoids the planning fallacy, which is our tendency to overestimate what we can actually get done in a day. By getting the biggest task knocked out immediately, you guarantee a win for the day, and that sets this amazing positive tone that carries you through literally everything else. Next up, technique number 4, if-then planning.
This is based on psychologist Peter Gollwitzer's concept of implementation intentions, and I want you to check out this number, 94. A massive meta-analysis of 94 different studies, which covered over 8,000 participants, proved that pre-deciding your actions with if-then plans massively improves your goal follow-through and conserves your precious willpower.
Let's look at how beautifully simple this actually is in practice. You're essentially just linking a cue to a pre-planned action. So if I feel the urge to check my phone, then I will write 3 more sentences. Or maybe, if I get home from work, then I will immediately exercise. You're pre-deciding exactly how you'll handle a situation so that in the moment, you don't have to use any willpower whatsoever. Your brain just recognizes the cue and bam, automatically triggers the instant habit. It's literally like programming your own brain.
And that brings us to technique number 5, our grand finale, the Zeigarnik effect.
Way back in the 1920s, there was this Soviet psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik. She was observing waiters in a busy restaurant, and she noticed something super fascinating. The waiters could remember incredibly complex, unpaid orders perfectly. But the second the bill was paid, the memory completely vanished. And this led to what we now call the Zeigarnik effect, which is a psychological tendency to remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks significantly better than completed ones. You know what? It's the exact same brain glitch that makes TV cliffhangers so addicting. When something is unfinished, it just gets stuck in our heads, creating all this cognitive tension. And this, right here, brilliantly illustrates why our entire toolbox actually works. You see, when we procrastinate, we obsess over the hardest parts of a project. But if you just use the 5-second rule or the 5-minute rule to just get the ball rolling, you immediately activate the Zeigarnik effect. Because once you simply start, your brain inherently wants to finish the job. That psychological tension of the uncompleted task is naturally going to pull you right across the finish line. So, I guess the only real question left is this. Are you going to close this explainer, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go tackle that task you've been avoiding right now? You've got the tools, you know the science, go eat that frog.